Hello everyone and welcome to Retail Archaeology. Today we'll be taking a look at Christown Spectrum Mall in Phoenix, Arizona. Now I did a video a little over a year and a half ago on this mall, but a lot of things have changed here since then. For example, you'll notice the Costco label scar. The Costco has now closed here, unfortunately. Now here's a wider shot of the front of the mall. I just wanted to kind of show that part of this is an outdoor shopping mall, but part of it still remains an indoor mall as well. You'll notice that Jcpenney is listed as one of the anchors. That also recently closed. With the Costco and Jcpenney closed, that leaves one large outlet still left that's actually attached to the mall, and that's the Walmart. I covered the history of this mall in depth in my first video on it, but I'll kind of go over a Reader's Digest version now. The mall opened in 1961 as Christown Mall, and it was the first indoor climate-controlled mall in Arizona. And there you can see a picture of one of its original anchors, Montgomery Ward. There are banners like this all over the mall, kind of calling back to its history, and that's something that I really enjoy about this place, and I think it's great that they embrace their history. This place is currently owned by a company called Christown 1755 LLC, which I believe is a reference to the mall's original address, and it's managed by Kimco Realty. This place's original name, Christown Mall, was a reference to the farmer Chris Hari, whose land was purchased in order to build this mall. Sometime in the early 2000s, the owners at the time changed the name of this place to Phoenix Spectrum Mall, which locals ended up hating, so they ended up going with the compromise name Christown Spectrum Mall. And there you can see the Walmart, which does actually open up into the mall, which is pretty interesting. I don't see that very often. Now let's take a look at some historic pictures of this place, and what I love about this place is you don't have to go any further than the mall itself for historic pictures. For example, here's a picture of Corix, one of the original anchors to this mall. That's a now defunct local department store chain. And then over here is a great picture of the first Jcpenney that was here with the fountain court in front of it. Unfortunately, there's no fountains in here anymore, but at least there's pictures in here of the originals. And here's a picture of the Broadway, which is another defunct department store chain. And then here's a fantastic aerial shot of this mall in 1961, and you can see the parking lot is full, and you just get a fantastic view of the place. I love the arched ceiling and the skylights all throughout this place as well, but we all know how I feel about skylights. Something else I love about this mall is the selection of old coin-operated games and machines that they have. Unfortunately, this Gina the Gypsy machine was turned off for obvious reasons, but when we did the first video on this mall, it was working, and there's a little bit of demonstration footage in that video of it. Here's another one, the True Grip Challenger, and I believe it just you hold onto those things and they just vibrate. I've seen machines similar to that where it says it's electrocuting you, but that's not really what it's doing. And then here is a really old coin-operated scale. I love that this stuff is here because this is something that you used to see in malls all the time, but not anymore. And you can get your lucky lottery numbers. I wonder if anybody's ever actually won any lottery money using numbers from one of those scales. That'd be interesting to know. The other reason I wanted to revisit this place, besides the Jcpenney and Costco closing, is because the owners and property management company just recently submitted plans for approval to redevelop this place. Now, I had assumed with the Costco closing and the Jcpenney closing that this mall would not be doing well at all now, but for a Sunday afternoon, this is not bad at all. This place is actually doing pretty well. I don't see a whole lot of vacancies. I mean, even the GameStop is still here. Even though this is a smaller mall, it has a lot of national store chains like Claire's, GNC, GameStop, which you don't often see that GameStop.com sign. There's a Bath & Body Works here as well, and they all had customers in them. I had kind of assumed the Costco closing would kill this place, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that it's still doing okay. What we're walking up to now is the recently closed Jcpenney. And that Jcpenney seemed to be actually fairly busy the last time we were here, so I was kind of surprised that was one that was closing. So surprisingly, this mall isn't dead, but they still want to redevelop it, which I think is a shame. I love the architecture of this place, and I'm not really sure why this isn't considered a historic building or something. And as we pan over here, we can see the now closed Costco, and that was the snack bar right there in front, which served as the mall's very busy food court when it was open. Right outside the closed Costco is this amazing Montgomery Ward label scar. I love that this is still here. I mean, it's barely visible anymore, but it's pretty great. And we can see right there, there's the huge empty parking lot for the Costco. And here's something I don't think I've ever seen before. Here's the inside of an empty Costco. I was able to get a peek through the windows. But yeah, even though that's closed, and that I thought was drawing most of the traffic into this mall because you had to come into the mall to get into the Costco, that closing certainly has not killed this place. There's still open mall kiosks here even. You can see through there's a really, decent amount of people in the Foot Locker. I understand closing malls like Paradise Valley Mall and Fiesta Mall and Metro Center Mall and redeveloping those, but this one seems to still be hanging on, and it's also fairly historic. I think it's just going to be a shame to lose this one. Here's another set of those historic pictures that they have around, and there's another look at the Montgomery Ward. And this is kind of interesting. In the opening shots, I showed kind of a wider shot of the front. Well, these are some of the original stores that were in the front of the mall, the ones that were located right outside. And I love this picture too, with the packed parking lot full of just tons of vintage cars. Here's some more of the original shops. I really think the better thing to do for historical preservation purposes would be to renovate this mall instead of redevelop it. There's still stores here, and how cool would it be to bring things back like fountains into the mall? I know you can't probably do anything as grand as the fountain court, but bring some more fountains in. There were two other courts as well. There was the Court of Flowers, which from what I understand was beautiful. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see it, but you could do something like that. And then the third court was the Court of Birds. I understand a Court of Birds would probably be hard to do. I believe those were live birds in the cages at the time, but you could do some sort of other third court to commemorate the mall and, the Phoenix area. I just feel like this should be treated more like a historic landmark and less like something to just be, plowed over and covered up with another bland mixed-use facility. Here's the mall as it stands currently, and here's what it looks like when they finish the redevelopment plans here that they want to do if they get approved. And as you can see, there'll be nothing of the original mall left. I mean, look, you can see this place is not dead, or even, I would say, dying, even though it lost two huge anchors. And there are things I think that could move into those empty anchor spots that would make sense and would be good for the mall and the neighborhood. For example, there's a grocery store chain called Winco Foods that's been kind of popping up in the Phoenix area, and their stores are about the same size as a small Costco and laid out kind of similarly. There are some differences, but that would totally make sense in that old empty Costco spot. And as for the empty Jcpenney, you could use a good portion of it to put something in like a Dave & Buster's or Round 1 Entertainment Center. I think this mall has a lot of life left to it. I cover a lot of dead ones on this channel, and this, malls like this are always refreshing to go to when, you see that they're actually doing okay, but it kind of sucks that it sounds like the owners and the property management company want to, kill this place off completely. I just think it would be so much cooler if they just, leaned into this mall's history even more, renovated it, cleaned some things up, and left it mostly intact. Replace the floors with something nicer, add some neon, maybe some more fountains and things, lean into that heritage of it, and I think this place could do even better than it's doing now. I just really hate to see it go. But what are your thoughts on Christown Spectrum Mall? Do you remember going here as a kid? Do you shop here currently? It, looks like a lot of other people do. Let me know down in the comments below. As always, everyone, thanks for watching. Wait, hold on, two more things. First thing, this is old footage from 2019 that I shot, and you'll see that the building is white and you can see the Montgomery Ward label scar, whereas in the newer footage, it's just bare brick now, but you can still see the Montgomery Ward label scar. That's pretty neat. The other thing I wanted to say is that the Retail Archaeology channel just recently made it to 100,000 subscribers, so thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed and watched my videos. I really appreciate it, and that's just really amazing to me. I do plan on doing a special video for that, and it's going to have a Q&A portion, so if you have any questions, please leave those in the comments below and I'll try to answer as many as possible. Now we're done. Thanks for watching, everyone. Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my update video on Christown Spectrum Mall. And also, once again, thank you so much for subscribing and helping me get to 100,000 subscribers.